be 5, 1 through 5, 4. So 5, 4 will be, we'll put that on there for you guys. Okay, so writing equations of lines. I'm not going to put all the equations up here on the left-hand side, but you know we had 4 equations up there written. When you're writing equations of lines, have we used standard form to plug into and write the equation? No, we haven't. So usually you don't use standard form when you're writing an equation of a line. You're using slope-intercept or point-slope form, and then the slope formula. If they want you to turn it into standard form, you need to know what standard form is. So let's go ahead and just do a couple more problems from this. Let's say you have this. We'll just call this number 1. This is 5.4 continued. Number 1, we'll call it for today. If you need to write the equation of a line and you're given negative 4, 2, and then 7, 3. Go ahead, write the equation of the line, check with your support team next to you. If you have no clue, go back to your notes real quick and look. If you still have no clue, just ask your support team around you and say, what would the first step be? Because, and actually a pro tip, what are the 2 things you need to write the equation of the line? You need a slope and a point. Y-intercept is optimum, but if it's not given to you, it's no problem. But you need a point and a slope. Did they give you a point? Yeah, they gave you 2 of them. Generous. Did they give you a slope? No. So now you go from there. We did one like this in the notes yesterday. Just give you like 1 minute here. Put 1 minute on the timer. Don't want to spend too much time if people are unsure or sure. 1 minute to get started on this. Think about what we did yesterday. Throw your wrapping away.
Wow.
Shiny. Okay, it's okay if you're not done. Just wanted us to get started on it. Let's get started on it together. So they gave you 2 points. What are you missing? You're missing a, which I already stated, a slope. So how do you find the slope? You plug into the slope formula. So m is equal to y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. And so we've discussed it doesn't matter which one's y2. So we'll go y2 minus y1, 7 minus a negative 4, and you end up with 1/11th, correct? Yeah, so we got like, 1/11th. All right, so it's a fraction, it's no problem. Once you have your slope, there's 2 routes to go. You can either plug into, anybody remember what this one is called? X minus x1. Point, slope form, or you can plug into y equals mx plus c form. Either way, right? It doesn't matter. I usually go towards this. That's what I like to do, but a lot of students like this one. So I would go to this one, I would, and say 1/11th is what my m was. And then, does it matter which point you choose? It doesn't matter. Some people, we might like the one without a negative. That might be helpful. So we say y minus, we pick that value 3, and then x minus, and we pick the value 7. And then we work it from there. The challenging part here for people is you have to deal with a fraction. Yeah, so that can be challenging for some of us. We add the 3 over, and so we have negative 7/11ths plus 3. And then you have to do your common denominator. What's your common denominator going to be on the negative 7/11ths plus 3? It's going to be 11, right? And so then you would go 33 over 11. I'll do the work up here. So we have, so the plus, I'm going to write plus. I usually like to write plus, and then, because we're not sure if we're going to end up with a negative negative 7 plus 33, like that. And where did we get the negative 7 from? Well, it was a negative 7/11, right? So that's where the negative 7 comes from. And then we multiply top and bottom by 11 over 11. We give you 33. And then what's 33 minus 7 give you? 26. And so it is a positive 26 over 11. Can we leave it like that? You bet. Can you convert it? You bet. Should you convert it to a decimal in this case? I wouldn't, because that's more what? Work. Is it pretty easy to convert, like, I was going to give you, I think we've had ones like this, 9 over 2. Is that one pretty easy to convert? And people are like, oh, it's 4.5. Great, easy. Is this super easy to convert to a decimal? No. So just leave it, okay? If you want to, you can, but it keeps going, and you'd have to figure out where it repeats, and you don't want to, so don't, just leave it. It's no problem like that. Okay, so that's how a review of what we did yesterday on one like that. And then let's do this. I don't know, those ones are all. Okay, let's try this one. Remember, I don't know if we did one like this yesterday, but we will do one like this now. Negative 6, negative 3, and then 7, negative 3. Okay, so again, 2 points. So go ahead, now that you know, we'll give a minute, get started on this one. Do the exact same process as we did on the first one we just did. Just give you a minute to get started. Ken, here we go. They gave you 2 points, right? And so then you're like, okay, I have 2 points. What's the first thing I should do? Find the slope, right? So you found the slope. What did you get for the slope? I saw some people kind of like pause, like, wait a second, 0, that's odd, right? I mean, it's not odd, it's a little bit unique. So people said negative 3 minus the negative 3 over 7 minus the negative 6. We get 0 over, it doesn't matter what the bottom is, but we get 0 over 13. So our slope is 0, right? So then you're like, oh, wait a second, slope is 0. And you're like, okay, well, if you want, you could keep going. You could say y minus, doesn't matter which point you plug into, let's do this one, y minus the negative 3 equals, right, m, which was 0, times x minus a negative 6. That's the one I was going to use this point. And then you're like, okay, y plus 3 equals 0 times, what's 0 times anything? 0. And then you subtract the 3 over, and you're like, aha, y equals negative 3. What do you recognize when you look at the points, the original points, what do you recognize? What value occurs twice?
Oh, 3.
Negative 3, right? So what kind of line is this? Not undefined. What kind of line is it? It's a horizontal line. You're thinking vertical lines have a slope that is undefined. So here, yeah, it's just a horizontal line. And if you went to graph it, right, you're like, okay, negative 6, down 3, there's a point, and then over 7, down 3, there's a point. Oh, it's a, what kind of line? Horizontal line. Horizontal lines are y equals or x equals. y equals with no x, right? So it's y equals, well, what does y equal every time? Look at the 2 points. Y equals -3. So Jed.
So if the 0 would be on the bottom and the 13 would be on the top, then it'd be undefined.
Yeah, then your slope would be undefined. And you would have what kind of line? When the slope is undefined, it's a vertical line. So something you can do, if it's on the MCA or your homework, you can take a quick look and say, oh, same y value, what am I dealing with? I'm dealing with the horizontal line. Y is going to equal what? -3. You could skip all of this, unless they said what is the slope. But even then, you know the slope of a horizontal line is always, what's the slope of a horizontal line? 0. So you could skip all the work and say slope is 0, equation is this. Done. So Jed's asking, and now, I'm giving it away, well, what happens if you have like 3, 11, and then 3, -2? And if you look at that one, we can do the slope out, but what do you recognize is the same on both coordinate points? What's the same? X is 3, so what's the equation of the line? If I said write the equation of the line, what are you going to write? What does X equal? 3. Now, the equation is never undefined. The slope, what's the slope? The slope is, that's what Jed was asking, the slope is undefined. So if I said, what's the equation done, what's the slope, you would say undefined. And we can do the math and say, well, why is it undefined? And that's what Jed asked. He said, if you get 0 on the bottom, meaning 3 minus 3, right, you would get -13 over 0. And so there you have, you can't divide by 0. Common error, though, is people just say, what's -13 divided by 0? They say it's 0. But you have to know, this is 0, this is undefined. Right? So. I'm trying to think if there's anything else I want to say with that. Yeah. So if you forgot that this is 3 and this is 3, therefore it's x equals 3, and you're doing your slope, you could hopefully catch and be like, oh, this has to signify that it's undefined. Because otherwise, then you'd be like trying to plug into y minus 11 is equal to undefined times x minus 3, which is true, but then you're like, then you might mess it up, and then be like trying to write an equation with this undefined slope, or you mess this up and say it's 0, which is false. So you just really need to know that when you get it divided by 0, it's undefined. What's the equation? X equals. That's what you have to know. You have to memorize that. This one you can get away with, okay, it's 0, I plug 0 into here, this times anything is 0, then I'm subtracting the 3 over, we can do the algebra to get there. Here, there's no algebra to get to this except knowing that it's an undefined slope, and therefore x is equal to 3. Or just look and say, oh nice, what is x equal? X equals 3. I'm guaranteeing you on the mid-chapter assessment, I'll have a question that says horizontal lines are x equals or y equals, and then what's their slope? And then vertical lines are x equals or y equals, and what's their slope? So I'm telling you that's on there. Guess what? Probably 4 of you will miss it. 25% of the class will miss that. Isn't that interesting? I'm making up that stat, but it's probably about right, if not more. Even though I told you it's on there. So hopefully people don't miss it. I don't have to say it. Vertical line, x equals or y equals? What is it? Vertical line is x equals or y equals? X. What's the slope of a vertical? Undefined. There you go. Horizontal, x equals or y equals? Y. What's the slope? 0. There you go, 100%. We're going to do it. Okay? All right, I'm going to stop there. You have a couple little story problems that you'll probably have to work through. Usually those aren't too bad, but if they are, we can get help from each other. You got 20 minutes or so, a little under 20 minutes work and make a good production of your time. No, over 20 minutes. I'm sorry, 25, 26.